We are only 6 months into the year, and we have already heard some exciting news, and there's more to come. As we go through this video, we're going to talk about the legacy banking systems such as JP Morgan, Bank of America, creating their own tokenized deposit network by 2027. We have recent updates from Cynthia Lummis with the Clarity Act. We're going to touch on that. Then also some stories coming out, Ripple, XRP, and the RLUSD with Wormhole as well. There's a lot to go in this video. There's a lot of exciting news, so definitely stick around for the whole thing. I promise you there's going to be some valid information in here that you want to be aware of if you are investing in the crypto space currently right now. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. This first story is going to come from All in Crypto on June 8th, 2026, and this is the story that has to do with the banking system. So check it out here with me, guys. It says, huge breaking news. JP Morgan, Citi, Bank of America, Wells Fargo are reportedly building tokenized deposit network by 2027 to fight stablecoin migration. They may use private DLTs, but public rails like XRP, XLM, HBAR, Link, Algo could also be involved. So we see that the legacy system is finally caving in. They are bowing down to crypto. They understand this is a new wave, but they act like this wasn't their plan all along. They have definitely been involved in this, and we're looking at them building their own network, which is great. That means that we can now see that Clarity Act move forward, because a lot of the problem with the Clarity Act, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is that the banking system wasn't ready to jump in at this moment. I think they've always planned to do so, but this adoption has sped up quicker than originally intended. So they have been trying to stall the Clarity Act by saying there's problems with stablecoin payouts, yields, etc. And now that they have their own network being developed and being rolled out, they're now good to go with this Clarity Act. As the stories are unfolding, you'll see what I'm talking about here. So watch the timeline, watch what they do and not what they say, especially when we're talking about the legacy banking systems. They don't care about telling the truth. They just care about protecting their wealth at the end of the day, guys. So now let's move into the next piece of this. I'm going to try to put all this together. You can see the snowball that is really getting pushed down the hill right now, and how fast institutions will be joining the crypto space here in 2026 and as we move into early 2027. Check out this post. I believe I posted this on YouTube, and this came out on June 2nd. Great story, and this was kind of the spearhead that had to follow the rest of these stories. We started seeing the snowball picked up from this spot here, so check it out. It says, current status, onboarding financial institutions, yet no one is in the crypto space. It's almost like this was perfectly planned. What a coincidence. The ex-chair of the CFTC is now at MoonPay. MoonPay has extremely close ties to Ripple. MoonPay is the company that bridges fiat with crypto. MoonPay is rubbing elbows with Franklin Templeton. This is Jenny Johnson of the $1.7 trillion assets under management Franklin Templeton, standing next to Caroline D. Pham, the ex-chair CFTC, currently executive with MoonPay. You're not crazy, you're early. The time will come. Control what you can control until the time comes. Study, stack, strap in. And this is coming from MoonPay's post. It says current status onboarding financial institutions. And again, you do have Caroline Pham with Jenny Johnson of Franklin Templeton. This was such a message being sent across the board to the financial institutions and to the investors saying, hey, we are ready to start adopting crypto in a major way. We're onboarding Franklin Templeton. And when they onboard, you can guarantee the other institutions will come. As we just now heard with the legacy banking system, right? They're now stepping in shortly after we had this announcement. Now let's keep on going. There's something that came out that has to do with the United Nations Development Program. And I'm bringing this up because this is actually a story I covered here that has to do with internet computer. Check this story out. This comes out on May 26, 2026. And we did cover it, by the way, guys, in this video right here. It's the internet computer versus the Solana episode. I will leave that in the pinned comments if you want to check it out. But what I wanted to point out here is that it says next week, Pierre is presenting in the Internet Computer Sovereign Cloud to government and enterprise leaders in Paris. ICP is the only viable IT stack for enterprise and public institutions that demand absolute sovereignty and zero single points of failure. So why am I bringing that out is this post here coming from Cointelegraph on June 8th, 2026. It says, latest, United Nations Development Program, UNDP, launches a blockchain advisory group. The group includes the Algorand, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Cardano, Ethereum, Stellar, and Sui foundations alongside Kraken, Cointelegraph, and other industry organizations. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is this is something we called out in that video. I believe it was, I forget what date I posted that, but it doesn't matter. It's been like 5 days or so, if not longer than that. When we talk about on this channel, watch what they're doing and not what they're saying. This is the kind of things we're talking about. When they go to these different summits and events, they get together, they talk about what they're about to roll out. It's not that they're getting together to try to figure out what's about to happen. They're getting together to announce something big. And as you see from the UNDP, something big did unfold from that. And we're just now seeing the progress of this meeting and progress of these new chains being rolled out, right? So this is exciting. That's something to keep your eye on. And let's keep on going, and let's think about all these news stories and the timing of this all happening around June. And as we see this, we are witnessing Cynthia Lummis talking about the Clarity Act moving forward. So check this out. This is Coin Bureau on June 7th, 2026. It says, just in, Senator Lummis, however you want to say it, the Clarity Act passed committee. The floor is next. We did not come this far to quit at the 5-yard line. One of the reasons why I'm pointing this out is be careful when you hear these kind of stories. There's a lot of people posting, and Cynthia does the same thing. She keeps it live saying that they're fighting for the Clarity Act. It keeps you engaged. It keeps you excited. Just know we're not there yet. This is still the same thing we've been saying that is past the banking committee for a while now. So they're just kind of recycling this news. But while we're talking about that, we are seeing progress behind the scenes. And let me show you what I'm talking about. This comes with Stand With Crypto on June 8th, 2026. Check it out. Read along with me. Pretty exciting stuff here, especially once you see the players involved. So check this out with me. It says Stand With Crypto. Stand With Crypto and over 200 organizations sent a simple message to Senate leadership. It's time for the Clarity Act. The community is unified. Large companies, startups, associations, and grassroots groups across the country are counting on their lawmakers to deliver rules of the road for crypto in America. The Clarity Act passed Banking Senate Committee with bipartisan support. Now it's time to cross the finish line. Tell your senators what you want to clarify. And as you can see, that's the letter they sent. Then this is the rest of that letter, who all signed it. But this is what I want you to see right here is more or less all these entities involved in trying to get this Clarity Act passed. And I won't go through all of them. You can definitely screenshot it or just use the link down in the description of the video. That will be down there as well. But check it out here. We do have Aave Labs, Alchemy Pay. If you know about Alchemy Pay, let me know down below. And you have Ripple, of course, right over here is involved. We have Digital, Anchorage Digital. Then we have Digital Ascension Group. That's Jake Clever. Of course, you know Jake, he's over there. Then we also have, Phantom, you have Kraken, you have Circle, you have Coinbase. All the big players are in here, but then you also have Hedera is a part of this as well. Hyperliquid, of course. Again, I'm not going to go too much into it because there is so much to cover with that. But we are seeing that they are trying to pass this Clarity Act, and the crypto companies that are involved are strongly pressing the legislation to go forward. They're wanting our Congress, our Senate to pass it. I think it comes at a time that they have finally made an agreement behind closed doors. That's just my opinion. But hey guys, while we're here, if you could please hit that like button, leaving a comment down below is always, grateful on my end. If you can hit that thumbs up, just something if you like this video to help it get it out. And thank you to everybody that has subscribed to this channel. You guys are amazing. I quite literally could not do this without you. So thank you so much. I sincerely mean that. Now let's move forward and let's talk about what's going on with the Clarity Act, what else is left before we can see that fully get adopted here. So this is going to come out from congress.gov, and let's check this out here. You can see that it was originally introduced on May 29th, 2025. So keep that in mind. It's been in rotation for over a year now. We have introduced in the House, now we have passed the House. Now we need to pass the Senate, then it goes to the president, then it becomes law. So keep that in mind. We still have 3 different steps to go here as we look at the Clarity Act. If it goes through the Senate, we have to understand that it can be presented to the Senate, but then it can also be kicked back and revised how many ever times. So just because it gets presented to the Senate floor, don't get too excited until you see the president actually sign it. That's when the real flip of a switch, if you will kick in, is when that becomes law officially. And as I always say in this channel, we're talking about the Clarity Act, is just because it becomes law, you need to be aware of a lag effect that may be presented due to organizations need to adopt this and change their policy. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that need to go on as well. But as we see progress, that's just a great thing to keep in mind for crypto space is moving forward. Okay, so now we're going to start moving into the XRP, Ripple, RLUSD, And before we transition to that, let's talk about this post from Bank XRP that comes out June 5th. And it has to do with our Bitcoin strategic reserve for the United States. So check it out here with me. It says, Congress is going beyond Bitcoin. Congress, Nick, American Reserve Modernization Act calls for a strategic reserve of Bitcoin and other digital assets, not just Bitcoin. XRP is a strategic digital asset. Is XRP next on America's balance sheet? So what I will say about this is I have this bill actually pulled up right here. You'll see it's 19 pages long. Let me go to the top here so you can see what's going on. It is 19 pages long. I do not see anything that has to say we have XRP specifically by name, but there is on page 4 that kind of gives you a hint to what's going on here. You'll see here, let me get to it. Here you go. It says right here that says, in general, the Secretary shall implement physical security and cybersecurity measures using commercially reasonable and technologically appropriate standards to protect the qualifying Bitcoin and non-Bitcoin digital assets in strategic Bitcoin reserve and the digital asset stockpile. So this is going to be down in the video description as well, should you want to read through that. So what I'm pointing that out is for, they have not named any altcoin by name. They are definitely talking about Bitcoin and digital asset reserve. There's still that mystery behind it. One of the reasons I believe there's that mystery behind it is because the Clarity Act simply is not passed yet. So there's not the rules for the road yet, so they really can't announce any kind of altcoin is going to be a part of this until this Clarity Act is officially approved, right? So keep that on the radar, keep that in mind, and let's keep going. And let's talk about what's going on with Ripple's RLUSD and Wormhole. Again, if you watch this channel, we have spoke about Wormhole and what they're doing. Quite a fascinating project, in my opinion. Not everybody agrees, which is okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. This has come from BSCN on June 6, 2026. Really interesting read here. Check it out. It says Ripple's native stablecoin is going cross-chain in a big way. The interoperability-focused Wormhole has announced that its native token transfer, or NTT, standard will be used to bring Ripple's RLUSD to multiple other blockchains. The news will see RLUSD proliferate across a host of popular L2 networks, including but not limited to Coinbase, Base, Uniswap, Unichain, and Optimism. So we're seeing that RLUSD is picking up with Wormhole. It's getting more traction, and this happens at a time that we're seeing more progress in institutional adoption, right? And again, I really think this is a perfectly timed plan that has a release at a steady pace. If you look at it, they have brought on stable coins. Now we're moving into tokenized stocks. Then we're going to keep on going to different aspects of the financial system and get them on chain slowly by slowly. And over time, we will build this asset group up. That's another reason why it's important to stay patient, because it does take time to get everything fully switched over to chain. There's a lot of things that have to happen on the back end. But as we're talking about RLUSD, a lot of people I know in the space talk about how, Ripple's dead and it's not going anywhere. Look at their stable coin, it's nothing. Well, let me give you a different perspective to look at through RWA.xyz. And I actually found something fascinating happening through RWA.xyz with the Ripple stablecoin. So check it out with me. This is going to be Ripple USD, RLUSD. So check it out. So as you see, it is, and right now we have a market cap of 1.6 billion. We have 56,000 holders with a monthly transfer volume of $16.75 billion. That's monthly transfer volume. That's exciting. There's a lot of movement on RLUSD. But what I would point out is, look at this difference now. If you remember, not even 6 months ago, this looked very much different. It was heavy Ethereum, very little XRP Ledger. And as we're looking at it now, we have $931 million on Ethereum, but on XRP Ledger, we're now up to $754 million of RLUSD. And as you can see by this pie chart here, we are definitely creeping on half of the pie. And this is happening in a very short time. As you can see back here on this chart, will tell you, if we go back just to, let's go back to June, this time last year, okay? We go back to this time, June last year, you'll see that we have $320 million on Ethereum, but only $60 million on XRP Ledger. And yes, as there is still a gap, you can see now that gap is closing in right here on this chart. You'll see that the green is the XRP Ledger and the blue is Ethereum. you can see that gap definitely getting closer to each other. And I do think over time, you're going to see the XRP ledger hold more RLUSD. And something else to check out here is the market as far as stablecoins go as a whole. You can see the green is Tether, blue is USD, and then the darker blue is Ripple USD. Although it's not really keeping up with Tether or USDC, I think it will definitely get there one day. But check it out here. We do have, as of 6/7, I know in the comments 6/7, but we do have 187 billion, it looks like, on Tether. And then we have 73 billion on USDC and then 1.6 billion on RLUSD. So although they're not up there with the big dogs yet, I do think you're going to see them explode. I do think in the next couple of years, RLUSD will be on the top tier up there with Tether. And again, I could be wrong. That's just my speculation for it. That's all I have in this video for you guys, so hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider hitting that like button, leaving a comment, and if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. We would love to have you a part of this channel. Before I let you guys go, though, take care of yourself, take care of those people around you, become the change you want to see in the world. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll catch you on the next one.